go, the false Pan-African out of Africa lie that was handed to you by your colonizers, the people who stole our land from us, came over here on ships out of the Caucasus Mountains down through Europe. Let their lies go. That dry-ass, underdeveloped desert over there is not the motherland. No, it says clearly that the motherland flows with milk and honey, and that's over here. I've proven it time and time again, and I'm about to prove it to you again. I'm gonna drop some gems. Word of caution, y'all need to save my video right now that there's sound and that it's still here, because you know how they like to do my videos, because I be dropping gems. Save it, let your children listen to it so they can find out the truth, not their lies. Let's get into it. Now, at the top, clearly says that African oral history and archaeological evidence suggests that civilization began in South America. When the latest humans from Africa arrived in South America about 40,000 years ago, they found a land that was not only habitable, but it was also rich in agricultural and resources. Okay, so you false out of Africa people, read halfway down in blue. It says there was little agricultural diversity in the African continent that they fled. They fled to South America, yeah, the Africans, where they say life started, began, and evolved. All right, so hence, this agricultural diversity must have been a very pleasant surprise. So as a result of them coming together, they stayed together as a group, us indigenous people over here and the Africans, and from there we formed life. It says the seeds of human civilization were thus sown. You can see at the very bottom, they started cultivating crops, vegetables, and all sorts of other things on the settlement of South America so they could eat. Land in North Africa at the same time had amazing agricultural potential. However, they lacked the variety of crops. So they found those crops in South America. And this is a list of the different crops that were found over here in the Americas, not Africa, over here. And then they took all that stuff to Africa. Read it. It says the pepper, the cola nut, the corn, millet, yam, sweet potato, cocoa yam. South Africa, in West Africa, there's a lot of cocoa yams being eaten over there. Pumpkin, squash, gourd, black-eyed peas, peanuts, okra, pineapple, cocoa, yeah, like chocolate, plantain, banana, tobacco, palm nut soup, yeah, gourds, ginger, garlic, shit. You see the list, that came from over here in South America, not Africa, over here, and then they took this stuff over to Africa. Now look on the bottom in red. It says today, 7,000 years later, there's still a large overlap between indigenous South American agriculture and African agriculture, because they took it from here and took it over there to modern day Africa, not the other way around. Some people in Africa are aware that the people who are called the red people came from over here. As you can see in the middle where the first arrow is, it says that the red people came from South America, Central America, North America, and the Caribbean islands. They're the red people. And it was before the arrival of the pale folks and their diseases that they brought with them. I want to show you something else to prove that we're the red people. But first, take a look at this second arrow. It says that this is the origin of human civilizations, okay? And the introduction of civilization to Africa, and also the rise of ancient Egypt, because together, all of these people built Egypt. Let's take a look at the description of the indigenous people here in America first. Now, you will see that there are various skin complexions for the indigenous people that they call the Aboriginal and also the American Indian. I rep copper color, because that's my skin complexion, okay? But we came in various shades. We were dark skinned, we were light skinned. And if you look on the bottom underneath where it says savages, it says swarthy and dirty dark red, okay? And so again, some of the Africans that, they refer to us as the red people. In between the two arrows, you see it says these red people built very advanced civilizations in their lands, underlined in blue. So who are these red people that built advanced civilizations? Let's take a look at some of the people that were in South America. We have the Uru tribe, and they spoke Amari, which is Amharic. That was the dominant language that was spoken in South America. And those are the Ethiopian people. So Ethiopians are from over here in South America. Who else was from South America? This is going to blow your mind. Now, who else lived over here? Take a look above my head where it says that there were strong cultural ties that existed between the Urus and the Moshes. Who are the Moshes, y'all? The Hebrews. Moshe, Moses. Now read in blue. It says 5 centuries after the Uru kingdom and the Middle East was founded. Now, the Middle East is actually the Caribbean. Okay, it's saying food shortages began to plague the land. The food shortages were the result of climate changes and overpopulation. It says fruit production declined and agricultural land became scarce. And so the citizens of the Uru kingdom, which are the Hebrews and the Ethiopians who shared close cultural ties, they migrated to Egypt to buy food. What does that sound like? Something that's written in the Bible? Huh? They took a journey to Egypt to get food because of the famines? Yeah. If you read on, they called their god Nana, and so they were saying that they felt as though that this is a result of them sinning from Nana, sinning against Nana, their god, the famines and the droughts and everything that they experienced. Look at what's written in blue. This is how the 10 Commandments came about. So in clay tablets, the priests inscribed a new code of ethics, and they forced all the adults to memorize it and abide by the code. That's the 10 Commandments, y'all. Keep in mind, all of that is over here in the Americas, not over there in modern day Africa. All right, so the groups of families, as you can see above my head, they began to travel together. They left the kingdom of Uru, and they started to migrate in the wilderness, which the wilderness story that they wandered for 40 years comes from. All right, in search of a land without sin. Now, so one such group forerunner of a tribe that later became known as the Hebrews, the forerunner of the Hebrews was led by a family of one of the Uru priests, which are the Ethiopians. And he also took responsibility of a family overseer for his family and the families of his uncles. And guess what his name was? His name was Abram. Okay, Abram, right, exactly. Now, so this included members of his extended family, and it ended up becoming a lot bigger, and they were mostly Uru people. So the Hebrews, literally came from the Ethiopian people. They wandered through the grasses for several moons, as it says right here in red, and they settled on a land today called Canaan. Hello, which is in North America, which is considered to be the United States right now, the California, Nevada area, Utah as well. Keep reading in the blue. Abram told his clan that Nana, which they considered to be God, has promised to turn that land and into a land without sin for several centuries. The descendants of Abram's clan held strongly to the hope that their land will someday turn into a land without sin. The Hebrews held on to the belief that the God of Abraham would someday turn their land into a land without sin, and it was a belief in a promised land that the Hebrews would commit to staying on the land despite the difficulties. Part 2 is coming. I got
Why the world is friend? Why the world